Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video today, we are doing 24 lessons for 24 months in the high ticket sales space. I'm really excited to film this video today. Today is actually my 2-year anniversary of being in the high ticket sales space, and what a journey it has been. So I sat down, I created a list of my biggest learnings and my biggest takeaways to share with you in hope that it can inspire you on your journey. So let's get into it. Number 1, the woman you want to be is created in the journey, not the destination. If you watch any of my videos, you will know that I say this all the time, but it's far too often that I see people are trying to rush the journey and get to the end destination. Especially with social media. When I got into the sales space, there was hardly any women really talking about about high ticket sales on social media. So it was pretty easy for me not to ever compare myself. Now everyone's documenting their journey, everyone's sharing their highlight reel over there. So it's very easy, especially as a beginner, and I see this a lot with the women that I work with, to just want to skip the process. But trust me when I say skipping the process is the worst thing you can do for your journey, because the woman you want to be, the reason you're in this industry, to have the confidence, to be articulate, to make the money that you want and have longevity with that, is created on the journey. So remember that. Number 2, energy sells more than scripts. What I mean by this is you can follow a script all day long. And don't get me wrong, I do agree with scripts, but you can follow one all day long. And if you're flat, if you're monotone, if there's no emotion or expression within this, then you're not going to close deals. You want to care, you want to have emotion, you want to use your tonality to an advantage. Mirror people's energy, whether you're happy, whether you're more of the leader and you're more stern, whether you are challenging. All of these different aspects of the sales call have a different tone, have a different energy. And it's your role, and as your skill builds, it's your role to hone that energy and master it. So on a sales call, you know exactly the energy you need to step into. Number 3, stop chasing and start attracting. Act as if first. I always say, act as if you are the person until you are the person. I always did this. I still do this. But specifically at the beginning along my sales journey, that was a big thing for me. Really, if you want to be a 10K a month closer, if you want to be top of the leaderboard, if you want to be top performer or whatever it is that you want to be, you need to act as if you are the person. The more you're chasing, the more you're trying to rush the process and grab onto the things you want, the more that they're going to run away from you. You need to attract using your energy, using your inputs. Are you doing the inputs needed to become that person? If you are, trust the process. And if you're not, and if you're trying to rush the process, then it's not going to get you very far. So make sure that the input you're doing when no one's watching is congruent with the person that you want to be. Number 4, the prospect's objection has nothing to do with you. It's not personal. I used to take objections so personally. I used to get a little bit mad, a little bit upset when a prospect would tell me that they needed to think about it or that they didn't want the product. I used to take it as like a personal attack. And when I realized this had nothing to do with me and this was everything to do with them, that allowed me to completely detach from the outcome and actually guide the prospect to overcome this objection. It allows you to not be emotional about the objection. It allows you to sit back, be calm, and probe accordingly so you can find out what the objection is and solve it. The more you make it about you, the more you take it as a personal attack, the more and the less likely you are to lose deals because you're focused on you and your ego rather than serving the prospect. Number 5, stop asking for permission in your sales calls. Be the leader, not the friend. This is super, super important. You need to lead a prospect. The prospect is there asking for your help, your guidance, your support. If you're asking for permission through your language, through your questions throughout the sales call, they will walk all over you and you will get the think about it objection at the end and you will have no idea why. If you're asking for permission, you are losing deals. Be the leader. No matter who the prospect is, old, young, man, woman, it makes no difference. You are there to do your job, which is to be the leader. Number 6. Challenging your prospect will help you close more deals. When I do sales training with the girls in my program, the analogy I like to give is think of your prospect like a best friend or a sister or someone who you can be unapologetically yourself with. When they tell you something that you don't agree with, or when you hear that they're making excuses for themselves, do you just agree and be like, oh yeah, you look nice in that dress, even though they don't look nice in the dress? Or, oh yeah, you should skip the gym today, even though they told you to call them out and hold you accountable? Or do you hold them out and call them accountable? You should be doing that as a good friend or family member. And that's the same as prospects. You should hold these prospects accountable. You should call them out. You should challenge. If they have put off this idea, this business idea for 12 months, and then right now they're telling you it's now or never, I must do this now, but with no explanation, no real reason why, they're lying to themselves. And at the end of the call, you will get, I need to think about it. Challenge the prospect. If they're saying to you, it's now or never, why is it now or never though? Why not just another 6 months from now? Like, why is this so important for you? Don't be afraid to push back a little bit, cause a little bit of friction, a little bit of resistance, because this will get the prospect to over-explain for the better in a good way. So they will actually convince themselves of why they need to do this now. Number 7. Ask for what you want. I've said this before in a different video, but every opportunity that I've had in this space, it's because I've gone out and asked for it. Even if I wasn't quote unquote qualified, even if I wasn't ready, I asked for it and then I proved my work ethic and my skill with my inputs. Number 8. Focus less on the money and the commissions and more on helping others. This will make you more money. I've seen this with some of the call reviews I've done with some of my students recently. The more focused you are on the commission check, the more focused you are with closing the deal, you will repel the prospect. People aren't stupid, not in this day and age. Everyone has had a bad experience with sales. They know what a salespeople is. They know that you are a salesperson. So if you're just focused on collecting cash, different payment plans, getting a down payment, and not actually focused on the problem at hand, why you're getting the objection, why there is resistance, and just having a human-to-human conversation, you are not going to close any deals. Whereas if the prospect knows that you are there to help, that you genuinely want to offer a solution, they will relax more, they'll work with you, and you will close so many more deals. I went through this at the beginning. I think every closer does. I wanted to close all these deals. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to make money. So I would just focus on the money, and trust me, it never works. Number 9. When you think you're talking slow, go slower. Remember that. When you think you're talking slow, go slower. I used to speak very fast. I don't know if it was lack of education with sales or, lack of confidence or panic mode on the sales call, but I used to speak very fast. And I remember my mentor telling me when we reviewed a call, like, you're talking too fast. You need to slow down, because talking too fast triggers flight or fight mode for the prospect. And literally, that's what I was getting all the time. And I had that advice, and then I had 3 sales calls back to back. And I implemented the advice immediately and I closed every single deal, even though a week prior I was in a complete dry spell and I hadn't closed any. And sure, there maybe were other factors, but I truly believe a big contributor to that was I really just slowed down my pace, spoke slow, spoke more calmly. It made the prospect relax and open up. Number 10. The only way to detach from the outcome is by reps and time. There is nothing that I can tell to you. There's nothing anyone else can tell to you that's going to make you detach from this sale. It just takes time. Try not to be too hard on yourself. All you can do is be self-aware of how you're feeling after each call or between calls, and know that you will detach from making money and you will detach from having to close every deal. The more deals you do close and the more money you do make. I guess the only actionable advice I can give you if you're in sales currently or if you're working a job is build an emergency fund. If you're in sales, do not live paycheck to paycheck. Do not spend your whole commission check. I have never in my whole entire sales career spent a whole commission check. I haven't even spent 50% of a commission check. Well, I'm sure like the smaller ones when I was making like 2K a month, but like the bigger ones, never. Because I never wanted to be in scarcity or survival mode in sales because it is commission only. You never want to think I have to make money right now because it doesn't go very well. Make sure that you are keeping money set aside, which will allow you to detach from the outcome much quicker. Number 11, the prospect's opinion is gospel and yours is trash. Use that to your advantage. What I mean by this is, and a quote that I always go by is, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. We need the prospect to convince themselves why they should do this. We don't need to be doing the convincing. The moment we're doing the convincing is the moment you've lost the deal. And I've tried my fair share of convincing. And when you watch the call back, you can literally see like the light going from the prospect's eyes. Like they're just not interested in what you have to say because they don't care about you and your opinion. However, if you ask the right probing and clarifying questions, they will speak their opinion. They will persuade themselves and they will care about what they have to say. Number 12, the prospect will buy from you because of you. The price doesn't actually matter. As I always say, if people like you, they will trust you. And if people will trust you, they will buy from you. It doesn't matter whether you drop $1,000 price ticket or a $10,000 price ticket. If the prospect likes you and you've built a bond with them, whether they have the money or not, they will find a way to make it work. The moment I realized this changed everything for me. I just needed to focus on building trust and a bond with the prospects. And I say this to my students all the time. That is super important, and then the price doesn't matter. The price will come after and the prospect will figure out a way to make it work. Number 13, if you can't invest in yourself and your skill set, you can't confidently ask the prospect to do that. You must be congruent. Of course that you can ask if you haven't done it logically. Of course you can say, okay, this is how much it costs. But for you to actually believe in the prospect will give you objections. You'll be like, yeah, that's fine. You should think about it. I'd think about it too. Which leads me on to number 14. I'm going to merge them together. The objection you give is the objection you receive. And these number 13 and number 14 link together. Because if you can't invest in yourself, if you think that it's too expensive, you will get a too expensive objection and you won't be able to handle it because you'll agree. If you're someone who asks their partner, now I'm not talking about if you're married, but if you're someone who asks your partner or asks your mum or asks your dad for permission, you will get that objection and you won't know how to handle it. If you're someone who gives the sleep about it objection, when really you're just scared and you're just procrastinating, you're going to get it and you're not going to know how to handle it. It's very, very important to be self-aware in the sales space. And if you can't invest in your own mentorship, in your own sales training, in a high ticket sales training offer, you can't sell one. You can't expect someone else to really let you lead them and trust them to help them make this decision and get someone else to. Sure, you might close a deal every now and then, but if you really want to be a top performing 10K a month closer, you won't be able to do it. Number 15, thinking about it isn't real. No one needs to think about it. Think about it isn't real. It's either money or logistics or fear. That's it. There's literally nothing more to it. Money, they don't physically have the money. Logistics, maybe their money is joint with partner and they genuinely need to get someone else's opinion. Or fear, they are scared. That is it. So never allow someone to leave the call with the objection, I need to think about it. Really probe, clarify, and isolate what the actual real thing is. Doesn't mean the deal needs to be closed then and there, but at least you can work with the prospect to handle it then and there. Number 16. Be the person to ask as many questions as you can. And what I mean by this is when you're on an offer, when you're in team trainings or your mentors trainings, be the person to ask the questions. Trust me when I say the mentorships I was in, every offer I was on, every opportunity I had to ask someone better than me questions to upskill myself, I did it. I was always the first person to put my hand up in a team training to review one of my calls. I was always the first person to ask questions because I wanted to be better. And you'll realize the bar's pretty low and most people won't ask questions because they're too scared to. So take up the floor, be selfish, use that time to make sure you're growing and improving. Number 17. You don't deserve anything. So be the hardest worker in the room. And what I mean by this is, I think in this day and age, too many people think that things should just be handed to them. They should just become a closer and should just get a 10K per month opportunity and should just close deals and should just make 10K. It doesn't work like that. This industry is a very highly skilled industry, which means there's a lot of people in this industry. A lot of highly skilled people with work ethics, no. You need to be that person. You need to outwork everyone. You need to be obsessed with your craft in order to be the type of person that makes that money. That money, that 10K a month mark is thrown around so much online that we truly just believe that that's just the bare minimum. And it's not. In order to be able to make that type of money, that money on your laptop with a Wi-Fi connection, it's kind of crazy. You have to be the person that's skilled enough, that's professionally enough to earn that place. You don't deserve it until you've worked for it, until you've done the inputs needed for it. And I say that with love to help you. You can achieve anything you put your mind to, but you have to put your mind to it. Number 18. You have to outwork everyone else. It's kind of links to the previous point. If you don't outwork everyone else, you're going to get left behind. In an industry that's fast-paced, in an industry that moves like this, that everyone wants a decision, everyone wants to move forward, everyone wants to make money, everyone's investing in themselves, everyone's upskilling themselves. If you aren't constantly learning, constantly criticizing your performance, constantly educating yourself, and I don't mean buying lots of sales training by any means, but doing your core reviews, doing your reps, asking questions, working more hours, taking more calls, working on the weekend when no one else wants to. If you don't do that, someone else will, and you will get left behind. I hate to say it, but there are people that I joined the industry with when I started who are still in the exact same place as me 2 years ago. Maybe still appointment setting or still closing. I actually spoke to a girl the other day and she hadn't moved an inch since a year and a half. And she was saying all the excuses of why she hadn't. And she was saying all the reasons why it wasn't her fault, but she hadn't actually done anything about it. And I don't mean this to kind of call anyone out, but you have to be self-aware enough to know that it's your fault. It's on you. If other people are moving forward, if other people are progressing, it's because they're doing the work behind the scenes. It doesn't always look that way. People make their life look amazing on Instagram, but that is literally it. The person that you look up to, the person who's ahead of you, is the person who's doing the work when no one's watching. Number 19. Remember, the prospectors come to you because they have a problem. Never let them think otherwise. Never let them make you think otherwise. A prospect will be quite funny like this. They'll try and lead the call. They'll try and take over. They'll try and let their insecurities take over, belittle you, put you down at times, talk over you. But remember, they are only there because they have a problem. If their life was perfect, they wouldn't be there. So don't be afraid to challenge. Number 20. We're getting there. Nearly done. You are not not meant to close a deal every single day. It is okay to have times where you close no deals, dry spells where you think you're doing everything right, but nothing else is working. Like, that is okay. This journey is not going to be linear. There's going to be highs and there's going to be lows. But the best thing you need to remember is the best piece of advice is your bounce back rate. How quickly do you pick yourself up? Do you brush yourself off and do you carry on? Do you jump on the next call? Do you watch your call review? Do you ask your mentor, for advice? How quickly do you bounce back? That is the only thing that matters. Number 21, talk less, sell more. It's as simple as that. I did a video on this not long ago. Don't over-explain yourself. Don't over-talk the prospect. It will lower your status. You won't close any deals. Listen, observe, read. That is your job as a closer. Get the prospect to do the talking. Number 22, track your data. You can't track what isn't measured. Track your close rate, track the calls that show up, track your follow-ups, track your cash collected, track all these things, because this is how you can set goals. The downside to sales, in my opinion, is you never stop pushing, which is why so many people lead to burnout, which is why I've also had burnout in my career. It's because your manager or the offer will push you, okay, this month we have to hit this target and we have to do this thing. And then on the first of the next month, it starts all over again. There's never a break. Whereas with a lot of corporate jobs, there's deadlines. Like, you hit certain deadlines and then there's quiet seasons and there's busy seasons. High ticket sales is always a busy season. You're always pushing yourself. You're always pushing for the best possible results, which means it can be exhausting. And you won't know if you're doing great or if you're having a terrible time. Like, there's been so many times where I've been complaining, oh, like, I'm not closing any deals. Like, I'm terrible at this because I haven't closed like a few deals. And then I've looked at my metrics and I'm closing fantastically and I'm on a record month. But because of my emotions in that moment, I put myself down. And if I didn't track my metrics, I would never know that. And I wouldn't have picked myself up and bounced back quick enough. And then I would have stopped closing deals altogether because I would have felt sad. So track your data. Number 23, review your calls. If you watch my channel, you'll know that I swear by this. There are so many girls in my program that say they don't enjoy reviewing their calls because it makes them feel awkward. The more you do, the quicker you're going to snap out of this. It is so important. If you're role playing, review your role plays. If you're setting, review your setting. If you're closing, review your closing. Make sure you are reviewing and making notes. And last but not least, number 24, have fun. This job and this opportunity is a pretty crazy one. And I remember saying this to some of my girls in a live training call the other day. They were like, how do you keep going when things aren't going your way and when you're not where you want to be, when you're not earning the money you want? And my answer was, think how lucky you are to even have the opportunity to do this. To have the money to invest in your mentorship, to have a community of women around you doing the same thing, to have the time to be able to work on an offer and to build your skill. There are people in the world that will never get that opportunity, that don't have choice, that just have to do a certain job for a certain reason, and that's that, and there's nothing they can do about it. And yes, we shouldn't feel guilty about how we feel because others don't have the same opportunities by any means, but we should remember to be grateful. We should remember to enjoy this, enjoy the journey. I wish I enjoyed the journey a little bit more, to be honest, because now I've kind of got to 2 years and I've hit so many milestones in closing. I'm like, I was so hard on myself. Like, I always wanted to be the best, be better. I always wanted to close more. I always wanted to make more money. I didn't take in the journey as much as I have. Now, I'm so grateful because now I have my community. I kind of live through the girls in my program. So when their experience wins, I experience that and I take that in for them because I never really did it for myself. But if there's anything that I can say, it's enjoy the journey, have fun with it. Don't be too hard on yourself. And that is it, guys. 24 lessons for 24 months in sales. These past 2 years have been absolutely incredible. I am so grateful for every single opportunity that I have ever had and every single person that I have worked with and learned from. And if you're watching this and you're just starting your journey and you're thinking, wow, like I would love to be able to kind of follow in her footsteps a little bit or learn from that journey, then there's going to be a link down below. You can fill it out. You can book a call with myself and my team. We can have a chat and we can take you through the exact blueprint that helped me make 6 figures in less than a year of sales. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.